Well, welcome to Focus Today. Steve Johnson here with you, and Mike Scheuchzer. He's with MercyMe, and he has been with them since the beginning. So that means when they were here in Medford before, he was on stage. So he knows the concert that he is looking forward to coming to. And in fact, I've got the poster right here, and you guys look awfully dapper. I tell you, this is the most dapper I have seen MercyMe to be. I mean, you're wearing suits and ties. You got a hat on, don't you?
I usually do. Yeah, that's me right there.
That is great. You got a hat on there?
Our manager for years has told us to dress for the job we want, not the job we have. So apparently we all want to be funeral directors, I guess. I don't know.
Looking at you right now, you've got a Callaway cap on. You look like you should be somebody who is working as a golfer or somebody who's a caddy. Are you want to be a caddy?
I'm a hack at golf for sure. We tend to take our clubs with us on the road though in the summertime and try and get out of the venue a little bit and get some exercise. So I'm getting back into golf. I started playing 15, 20 years ago and then got married and had kids and kind of shelved it. But my kids are getting a little older now, and I'm hoping some of them will pick up on the hobby too, and we can do it together.
You know, that's a good thing. If they get good enough, you could be their caddy. That's not a bad thing.
I probably wouldn't give them the right advice the way my golf game is.
Well, Mike, of course, is with MercyMe, who's the headlining group along with Jeremy Camp, Crowder, Family Force 5, and Salvador for the Dove Fest that is coming up on the 3rd of September. It's going to be a great time. It'll be great to have you here. By the way, there are a lot of golf courses in Oregon that you should be visiting. If you hadn't, you know, you should add that to your itinerary. Whenever you come to Oregon, you have to try another golf course.
You know what? Everything's so beautiful and green there. I can't imagine how great the golf courses are. So I'm sure our clubs will be on the, they'll be under the bus for that one.
Well, that'll be good. Well, you know, you were here, I'm trying to think how many years ago that was. You were here with Casting Crowns, which I think is the first time you ever were on stage with Casting Crowns in kind of a concert venue thing. So it was great that it was here.
That was like literally one of 2 times we've ever shared the stage with them.
Wow, yeah. That's great. And now you're sharing the stage with a few other of these. You've been with Jeremy Camp before, haven't you?
We have. We've toured with Jeremy a bunch. And Crowder as well. So we're looking forward to
maybe the first.
We're good friends with those guys as well. So
you know what you're right. I talked to one of them and they mentioned that too. So that's a cool thing. I guess they're kind of doing a tour and going away from that. They're touring with somebody else and then they're hanging out with you guys for this Dove Fest. And then Salvador as well. You know, a bunch of brothers. Have you been with them before? Have you been in concert?
We've done a handful of shows with them. We've never actually done a full tour where it was back-to-back dates. And so they've always been kind to us. We've never, never have been fortunate enough to spend like multiple days on the road with them, but we have done a few festivals.
Well, that's cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about what we might expect from you guys coming up here. Your itinerary, or I should say your albums and the songs that you have, you could just pull about anything else and do a greatest hits thing. What are we going to expect September 3rd here?
Man, honestly, that whole lineup's going to be an amazing show. You got a little bit of everything, and we're thrilled just to get to be a part of it and honored to get to close the night out and headline. You know, for us, our number one goal is always to point to God and point to Christ and the amazing gift we've been given through that salvation that he brings. And so just a reminder of that to the people who are coming. Hopefully they're there to be reminded of it and then just to celebrate it. I mean, it's a great time. And you've got artists who are all, sharing the same message of hope and grace and salvation through Jesus. So it's going to be an amazing night.
Now, I know you guys are quite busy all the time. Do you have a new album coming out, new songs maybe that you're going to try out or what?
You know what? I just actually left a meeting with our record label just minutes ago, and we were discussing the finalizing of the release dates and whatnot, and which means we have to hurry up and finish because we still have quite a ways to go to get it done. But we're in the middle of working on our next record, yes.
Well, that's great. So we'll hear, obviously, some favorite songs. Do you have some new ones you're going to try out, too?
I don't think we're ready to let them out yet. I keep pushing for one song that I think we should start playing live, but the other guys aren't quite ready. I'm always the one who's trying to do it too early, though.
Well, I'm there with you. I think that's great. At least just a little sneak preview. You know, try to float that idea.
I think so. I think we should. But we're definitely going to do a lot of the hits from the past. We've actually started doing a little bit of a medley to kind of fit some of them in. We've been around, like you said, for a long time, and so we've got a lot of records to try and play. But we love playing our new record, too, and so it's trying to fit as much of it in as we can, into a short time.
Yeah. Now, of the 5 of you, you're one of the founding members. How many others are since they've been there since '94?
Well, now it's just Bart and myself, the lead singer and I. But we've been this band for a long time. We started the band in '94 with our Bart, myself, and then our keyboard player who's no longer with us, Jim. But Robbie, our drummer, came on about a year and a half after that, in the midst of like 21 drummers. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Spinal Tap, but that's kind of how we do things. So Robbie came on about a year and a half into us starting a band, and then Nathan, our bass player, at the time, our original bass player was leaving, and Robbie's like, well, my sister's dating a guy who plays guitar at church. He can probably play bass, right? And so we let Nathan in the band not long after Robbie was on board. And then Barry's been with us, gosh, going on 10 or 11 years now. We stole him from Toby. So.
Oh, well, okay. I know that some bands have artists who've been, musicians who've been with them for quite a while, but they weren't there from the beginning. And they're kind of like the Ron Wood of the Rolling Stones. They're never quite the original core, but they've been there forever. Right, so are these still the new guys, even though they've been with you for maybe 8.5 years?
Not even a little bit. Barry, he's been with us the shortest amount of time for sure, but he's one of us. He couldn't get out if he tried.
Okay, let's talk about MercyMe and the changes. Go back to '94, think back. Okay, you have the image of what you were like then and what you're like now. How's the band changed over the years?
So many ways. I would say we were like anybody. I mean, when you're in your 20s, you don't know anything. You think you do, but you don't. And I think, we're all kind of hitting our 40s and late 30s, and some of us 50s, but I won't say who. I think with age comes wisdom, and I think with wisdom comes a lot of grace. I think we're a lot more gracious towards each other and each other's faults, and just the faults in others, because we've started to recognize the faults in ourselves, and we see the mess that we are on our own, and so we tend to be a lot more gracious towards each other and towards those even outside of our little sphere, and try and show the same grace we've been shown.
And some bands have a hard time getting to that stage. They break up before that, but fortunately you guys were able to go through that era, I suppose, and that probably is a different feeling for each person. I mean, it's not like everything coalesces at one point, but you've been able to get through it and been successful. What do you attribute that to?
Not knowing any better, maybe. I don't know. I think we've been called to this, and we're all pretty. We've always been pretty open that we feel like when God's done with us, we don't want to keep doing this. Like, we don't want to keep beating a dead horse or making music just to make music. We feel like as long as we're hearing back that, the songs that we've been performing and writing and releasing on records, when they're connecting with people, there's a reason to do it. As soon as we stop hearing that, we stop hearing that, that our songs are helping people get through tough situations or drawing them back, back to God after maybe they've walked away or never taken the time to get to know Him, then we feel like it's worth it. After that, I'd rather be at home.
Yeah. Okay. Give an idea. You're kind of doing a break, I guess, from a normal tour to come to Dove Fest. Are you in the middle of one, or is this an extension of one, or how does that work?
Well, no. Part of trying to keep the band together, there were a few years ago we were starting to consider whether or not we were being used anymore, and starting to toy with the idea of just calling it quits. And instead of just calling it quits hardcore, we decided to kind of address some of the issues that may be putting a strain on the band. And part of that was cutting our dates in half so we could be home with our families more. So we don't tour heavily anymore. We do about somewhere between 60 and 70 shows a year, maybe 75, where we were doing 120 before. And so part of it, stepping back, we'll do a short spring tour and usually a short fall tour, and then do some fill-in summer dates of festivals like this, and some state fairs and ball games and whatnot. It shows that we just feel like are the right fit for us, and instead of just saying yes to everything that comes in the door. And it's been unbelievable. It's been such a gift to be able to be with our families more. And just be a part of their daily lives. Whereas in the past, we were doing it over the phone, and, thank God for FaceTime and Skype and things like this, where we could try and stay in contact, but it's no comparison to actually getting to be there.
Oh, that's cool. Well, it's great that record companies also might be recognizing that need too, because they could say, no, you know what, so long as you're selling records, you got to keep getting out on the road and all that. But it sounds like there is a little bit of a reasonable dialogue going on there, so that's good news.
Yes, with our record label, there always has been. It's always been more of a partnership. We don't have enough good things to say about fair trade or our booking and our management. They they know what we need and to keep doing it, and they're on board. I mean, they're part of the team. They want us to go on as long as we can and be healthy doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Of course, Mark Scheuchzer with MercyMe, one of the founding members. There's 5 of them, and this is, of course, for Dove Fest coming up on September 3rd, along with Jeremy Camp, Crowder, Family Force 5, Salvador. You said that pretty much you played with all of them in some capacity that way, but probably not all together like this, I wouldn't imagine.
No, this is the first time this lineup's been together for sure, so it's going to be an awesome night.
Yeah, it is. And really, you know, it starts at 2 p.m., so it's going to go well into the afternoon and into the evening. I mean, that's going to be a terrific thing right there. And so you're coming back, and let me think. I think the amphitheater is pretty much the same as you remember. There's a pond out back, and I'm trying to remember. Sometimes bands will go fishing on the pond trying to get something in there, but then there's also the little race carts that are next to it in the amusement area next to it. Did you guys do that last year? I think
some of our crew guys went over and did some go-kart racing. Yeah. I think I was hanging out by the lake most of the day. It was peaceful and just a nice way to spend the day.
Well, you got options there, so that's terrific. Mike, thanks for being with us. I appreciate that. Anything else you want to say? Shout out to Medford to get them to come out September 3rd for Dove Fest?
Absolutely. We'd love to see everybody in Medford show up and pack that place out. Our favorite thing to do is to hear the crowd singing back, whether it's our songs or anything. And that's going to be a night full of great songs to be singing along to, ours and Crowder's and Jeremy's and everybody. So, yeah, come on out, sing with us, have a good time, and let's get loud. All
right, Mike Scheuchzer with MercyMe. Join us September 3rd. You can find out more by going to theDove.us. Mike, thanks for being with us. And stay tuned. There's more coming up with Focus Today.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.